dona do lar, eu sou dona de mim.
Se eu nasci pra casar, não, eu nasci pra brilhar.
Este é o lembrete de L'Oréal Paris para que você nunca se esqueça do seu próprio valor. Porque a sua história é valiosa. Porque você vale muito.
Uma pausa no seu podcast para contar que chegou o novo Peugeot 2008. Um carro que impressiona até quem já viu de tudo. Conheça uma experiência de puro prazer em dirigir com acabamento sofisticado e design inconfundível. Descubra como conforto e tecnologia podem elevar o nível da sua experiência de direção. Conheça o novo Peugeot 2008 e deixe a inspiração te guiar.
Before we jump into today's show, we're very excited to tell you we're currently part of Spotlight.
Spotlight is a project from Apple Podcasts which highlights a creator or creative team every few months, and they've chosen us for the month of September.
Apple's editorial team believes that you're going to want to spend a lot of time with us, and we definitely want to spend time with you. So they put the two of us together. Thank you very much, Apple Podcasts.
We really hope you're enjoying our show at Self Care Club, and we really hope that you stick around and talk about all things self-care. And don't forget, you can listen ad-free to both this show, Self Care Club, and 40ish when you subscribe to our channel. Hello, everybody. I'm Nicole Goodman.
And I'm Laura Mishcon, and welcome to Self Care Club.
Today, we're talking about change.
Change.
Changes.
That's the one.
Change. Who sang that? Doesn't matter.
Bowie.
Oh, God. Look at you all on it.
Took my mushroom complex this morning.
And I can tell.
Can you? I took focus and clarity with my coffee, with my supplements, with my ashwagandha.
You know it's good because I've taken nothing today, so you are going to have to run the show.
I'm rattling with all my supplements.
Anyway, we're talking about change.
Yeah.
Because if there is one constant thing in life, it's that things change.
Yep.
The only thing unchanging is change itself.
Oh, that is so deep for a Monday morning.
It's true, though.
It is true.
The only thing unchanging is change itself.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that people get used to it or embrace it or like it.
I bet you hate it.
You know I hate it.
Of course you hate it.
I hate
you
change.
are like, I have to drag you. And now to the point, like when something comes up that's like a change or a bit different or a new thing.
Yeah.
And I sort of like, now I take a deep breath before I pitch it to you because I know exactly what I'm going to get.
When I was thinking about this show, I thought this has clearly always been a problem for me because I remember in my past iteration as an actor's agent, so we're talking 20 years ago, we used to have this computer system, and occasionally, believe it or not, I was actually really good at this computer system because I was on it 5 days a week. But sometimes...
No one believes it.
No, it's true. But sometimes bits of it would change. And I could not, like, when there was a new system...
Or there'd be like new software or something.
we doing something a new way. And my boss would be like, no, we're not doing it this way anymore. We're doing it this way. And I would just freak. And he would always say to me, change or die, Lauren, change or die. And often I would think, I'd rather die.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
So I've always been bad with change.
You can't say that.
I've always been bad.
You're going to get trolled for that comment.
Well, I'll get trolled then. I've always been bad with change. What can I tell you? And September, for me, I don't know about you, always feels like the new year. Like,
well,
not
it is
January.
It is the new year.
It's a new school year.
It's a new school year. It's the Jewish New Year.
Yeah.
No, I can't imagine that you're very connected to that part of it, though.
But it always feels like new pencil case, new shoes, new kids' classes, new everything.
And also it's like new after school clubs and slightly new routines. And it is it's new.
And also, it's
a new season.
It's new. And also, one of my son's girlfriends has just gone off to university. A couple of my friends, their kids have gone to uni for the first time. It is a time of change. And I really remembered how I felt this time 2 years ago when Max left for university. Was such a change, such a shift in our household and in my life. And it was massive and it really affected me. And I suppose I just wanted to do a show about why we find change difficult. Some people, not all people, and give some strategies and some self-care tips to anyone struggling with change now.
Or not, or embracing change. You can still listen to this show if you're not struggling with change.
You can, but it might not be as helpful because you're already down with change.
Doesn't always have to be helpful. It could just be entertaining.
That's true.
Didn't think of that, did you?
Not really, no.
No, because you've always got to go the extra mile.
I've always got to go with the negative, which is not liking change. Whereas you're like, yes, change, newness, love it, great, fabulous.
Yeah, totally.
I know you are.
Totally.
Switch it up, keep it fresh.
Yeah.
So you.
So me. Love it, love it, love it.
And again.
And because I always approach it with something, well, exactly as you said, new, fresh, exciting. That to me is exciting. It's full of opportunity. It's full of potential.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, scary new. Don't know about it. Going to be awful.
Oh, we had this conversation on text the other day.
You and I?
Yeah.
What about?
About this opportunity that's come up.
Oh, God. Yeah. Go on.
Someone wants us to do a talk.
Yeah. Another one.
You know, people do ask us to like speak about self-care.
They
because,
do, yeah.
Funnily enough,
it's our job.
It's what we do and have been doing for a while. And we've also written a book. And since we've written the book, people ask us to like go on panels or be part of their event, their well-being event and all those sorts of things. And you just hate it.
Even more funnily enough, because I do speak about self-care for a living. I'm speaking to you about it right now, but I don't like to speak to actual humans in a room about it.
Anyway, so basically, so when something new like that comes up, I always have to approach it in a certain way with you. And sometimes I've got the energy for it and sometimes I simply do not. And last week, I simply did not.
No.
Because I was also very premenstrual.
Yeah.
You weren't feeling so hot.
No.
And it was just a bad fucking mix.
It was a real toxic cocktail.
Well, it wasn't toxic. No, you're being dramatic. It was not. Was it toxic?
No, it was just not a nice cocktail of feelings.
No, because I just knew I was going to get this whole negative barrage of why we shouldn't do it.
Did.
And then she starts to the point, clubbers, where she starts inventing a whole imaginary holiday.
It wasn't imaginary.
So she starts like, what if I'm on holiday? We can't do that. I said, you're not going on holiday. I might. It's in half term. I'm like, well, you're not yet. So if you haven't booked the flights, I'm afraid I can't say, I'm really sorry, such and such. We can't be at the event because Lauren might start thinking about going on holiday.
I'm not so sure that this issue is about change more than
because
I just don't like speaking to people in a public space.
I'll tell you how it relates.
Go on.
Because it's something new and it's not part of routine. It's not part of the ordinary. So it's like change can sometimes push you outside of your comfort zone, can't it? As does this.
Yes. Yes.
So it kind of, the feeling is still the same for you. You're very resistant to it, as if something bad's going to happen or it's going to, I don't even know what it is.
Well,
but
there are 7 reasons why people often find change difficult, right? And I don't know how many of these I hit. First one's fear of the unknown. Yes. Stepping into unfamiliar territory,
but you also
right?
create an unknown that doesn't exist in your head.
Yeah, I do. And it's always bad.
Because
it's never
you
good.
Absolutely catastrophize.
Yes. It feels like anything new feels risky. And I prefer, like most humans, predictability, stability.
So that's so interesting.
One.
Anything new feels risky.
Yeah.
Whereas I think anything new feels exciting.
There you go. Interesting.
And that's why we come at it so differently.
Number 2, definitely I'm hitting this one as well. Loss of control. Definitely. People like to feel that they're in charge of their decisions and situations. Change is like a loss of control. That's for me. You don't mind a loss of control. I mean,
I've gotten more controlling as I've gotten older.
I don't find you particularly controlling. I'm very controlling in my own way, in my own things.
I don't find you controlling.
I'm not controlling.
Occasionally, you literally go, no, we're not doing that. That's the end of it. And then that's like the end of the conversation. I thought, okay, well, that's not the end of the conversation, but you do that. You like shut things down.
I really like to be in control of everything at all times, but my own things, not like of other people, but I like to be in control of myself and what I'm doing and what's going on for me always.
Yes, but what's going on for you often professionally is going on for me.
On for you, yeah. Comfort in routine.
Oh, you are. I mean, I do like a routine.
Do you like routine?
I do. Of course I do. I'm not very good out of routine. And if my routine...
Yeah, that's true, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm really... But I very much like being in routine. It's very good for me. I find it very healthy.
But you've created your routine to keep yourself ticking at an optimum way. So the break in the routine is often a break of stuff that you have put together consciously to keep yourself running at an optimum pace, right? So the break in routine often doesn't work for you because then it's like, well, then I haven't got time to do X, Y, Z. And those are the things that I do that make me feel good.
Like when it's the summer holidays, for example, I would still put my alarm on at 6:30 and go to the gym.
Yeah, and I will stay in bed till as late as I can.
I can't do that. Because if I then go later, it just messes up I can't.
So you don't like changing routine, okay? That's one.
Well, no, I like the things that I like.
Okay.
So I'm very routined with things like going to the gym. I'm very routined with what I eat. I'm very routined with those sorts of things. Like, you know, very routined with the days that I do the towels and just
I'd say that's also quite a control thing, being in control.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I do get more controlling as I get older.
By the way, I also have a change of towel day and it's Sunday now. I've decided. I've changed it. I just wanted to share that with you.
That's a 40-ish thing. We can talk about that on 40-ish.
I know it's very
That's
40-ish,
amazing.
but I've changed towel day.
And how
Sunday.
was it to change the towel day?
Oh no, it was really good. I changed it obviously because no one in my house gives a shit. They could have the same towels for a month and they wouldn't even know.
No, they wouldn't
or care. But I made that decision for myself.
Why
and for
did
my
you change it
household.
on a Sunday?
Because I felt I had the headspace to do the changeover and the wash and the dry. Let's be honest, I am going to talk about this on 40-ish, but let's be honest, there is nothing more thrilling than when you open the tumble dryer and it's only towels to fold.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
Only a middle-aged woman knows that.
No, I've got a better one.
What?
There is nothing more thrilling than when you open the washing machine and it's just towels.
And
you
they go straight into the dryer.
And you don't have to hang anything up.
That's what I mean.
That is like a rush.
It's an easy Sunday task. Swap them over, machine, dryer, back in the cupboard, done.
You know, it's the bit at the back in the cupboard bit.
No, I don't mind that. Because they're so easy.
I hate that.
Anyway,
I hate that.
anyway, comfort in routine. Yes, we like that, both of us, okay?
Yeah.
What about fear of failure?
I don't really have a fear of failure.
I do.
And I think that if you are not failing at certain things, why are you laughing?
Because I seem to be ticking all 7 of these why people don't like change issues.
But I think if you're not failing in life, you're not trying hard enough.
Okay.
Or you're not trying hard enough. You're not pushing yourself to be your best version of yourself. Because in order to do that, you have to fail.
Yeah. But that fear of not being successful or the fear of failing can create this reluctance to embrace change.
Yes, sure, of course it can.
Yeah, I have that.
But what are you scared of?
I don't know.
Like if we like this talk, for example, the fear of it not being very good. Because we
just
have
the fear. It's a basic fear.
But
the fear of it being shit.
But we've done one that was shit.
Yeah, we have.
So we have realised that fear, and you know what? We both survived.
One died.
No one died, and we came out. We were still friends.
I mean, ironically, the next day, even though it fucking bombed, I actually felt better because I was like, the worst happened.
Yeah.
And look, here I am, waking up. My husband's still next to me. My kids are still safe. Nothing's happened.
You're so funny.
It was just shit.
That's what I always do. That's always my comfort. Like, my husband still loves me. My kids are still healthy. Everything's fine.
Yeah, like whatever.
Yeah.
And?
Yeah.
So weird.
It's so weird how you have to have these like mental self-talks.
Emotional attachment. Do you have that when it comes to change? Like you form an emotional bond with the way things are.
No.
Like relationships or your... No?
No, sometimes to the point where I think I might be a bit of a sociopath because I'm like, no, I'm fine with that.
Oh, okay. I have emotional attachments to the way
you're
things
not going to
are.
have an okay, yes. Like if we change podcasting day, you'd really struggle with that.
Oh my God, it would fuck my week.
Yeah. I mean, towel day, I don't know what would happen there.
So when I leave for the studio, there's fresh towels always because it's a Monday morning. You see, that's great. Great to start that week with a fresh towel situation.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
It really is.
Are you going to change towel day to a Sunday now?
I try not to do any washing on a Sunday.
No, I totally am down with that, but it barely feels like washing when it's towel day. Oh, okay. What about cognitive overload? Because it takes a lot of mental and emotional energy to change, to adjust to new circumstances or new behaviours. Do you struggle with that?
I don't struggle with change.
It's just not fair.
I know. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't. Because like I said, I see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to grow,
oh
to
my
create
God.
new things.
You're like John C. Maxwell.
Who's that?
He's an author and a speaker.
Right. Does
says,
he talk about change?
Yeah. He says change is inevitable. Growth is optional. I bet you love him.
I already love him.
There you go.
I've never heard of him.
Well, that's his phrase.
Change
It's inevitable.
Change is inevitable.
Growth is optional.
So, clubbers, I'll let you into a little bit of a backstory.
Oh.
When we were setting up 40ish, we had to set up we didn't have to. Apple advised us to set up a channel. And in order to set up a channel, we needed both of the artworks on Self Care Club and 40ish to align and to be part of a brand. But we had already changed the artwork not so long ago, like 6-7 months before that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so I was so happy that Apple actually said to Lauren, I think you should change the artwork in order for it to brand with 40ish. And I thought, she's not going to cope with that.
And what my main problem was, but it won't match my laptop sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it still doesn't,
It doesn't
actually. Because
now,
if we
as
show
you
our
can see,
laptop
'cause
stickers.
it doesn't now match. That
No.
bothers me.
That's the old logo.
That bothers me that it doesn't match.
You know what? It bothers me too. So what we should do...
Order new stickers.
Order new stickers.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's do that. Then it won't bother either of us. Okay, let me ask you a question. What are the biggest changes that have ever happened to you in your life?
Well, the obvious ones, getting married, having kids,
Yeah.
moving house.
Yeah.
We moved house about 8 years ago. That was a big one.
Yeah.
And giving up hairdressing.
Yeah.
So I would say in the last 5 years, the biggest one is stopping hairdressing. I've had a whole career change.
Would you
as have
say
you.
all of those changes were good changes?
Yes.
Have you ever had a bad change?
That's a good question. Have I ever had a bad change? I mean, yeah, but like minor changes.
How did you cope? Give me one.
Oh, but it feels really insignificant
Doesn't
and really
matter.
silly. Like when I changed gyms.
That was a big change for you.
No, but that
I
was
was quite worried about you when you changed gyms.
But no, that was a good change. But
Oh,
there's been
okay.
times where I've changed gyms and it hasn't been a good change.
Okay.
So that wasn't brilliant.
Mm.
That wasn't brilliant at all because I was like in this toxic place and then I went to like this toxic gym where everyone was sort of in this same headspace of being sort of really obsessive with their gym and, you know, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like surrounding myself with people that weren't really particularly healthy for me.
Yes.
What about you? The big changes, have they been
Biggest
good?
change is definitely becoming a mother, but that happened so early in my life. I almost feel like
But you always give us something very historic. Could you give us something a bit more recent?
in my life,
No,
what are the
within the
biggest
last-
changes?
Well, let's do like the last 5 years.
Changing jobs?
Yeah, you've changed careers.
Yeah. Massive.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Changed your hair, you had a fringe.
Oh no, the fringe has come and gone over many years. It comes, it goes, it comes and it goes.
Yeah.
That's a big change.
Have any changes been bad?
I don't think so.
So that's so interesting that any change that you've made has always had you've had a positive experience with it, and yet you still struggle with change. Because the information that you've got at hand is actually a positive experience.
I am a creature of habit. I am quite habitual.
I love that about you.
And I am quite sort of steady and stable, and I don't like fluctuations.
Yes.
In
I
people,
love
in
that about
anything, in
you.
life. It's not very exciting. But because Ollie is like very similar to you, he is all about the new. Anything fresh, new, shiny. And I always say to him, the only thing that you have like stuck with is me. Everything else changes. He changes the car, he changes his clothes, he changes his...
Well, most people change their cars every few
No,
years.
but I mean, he loves the new.
Like I do.
Yeah,
We are so similar.
You're so similar. He's very into the novelty of new things, and I'm very resistant. So it's good for me because, you know, otherwise, my God, what would happen? It'd be so stagnant.
Would you probably still have the same hairstyle that you have from the 80s?
Probably, yeah. I think I do still have the same hairstyle from the 80s. I had a fringe when I was a kid. So, yeah, I basically do.
It's like when someone used to come in my salon and they used to say, oh, you know, I've had... And I would mention like maybe they should change their hair. I said, no, I've had this hair for like the last 20 years. I'm like, exactly, it's time for a change. And maybe that's why I'm so good with change, because of my job.
Maybe. You were changing people every day.
Yeah. And encouraging people to, update and change their hair all the time.
Yeah.
But I think it's very interesting that you are attracted to people that like change.
Well, I guess it brings the novelty into my life. I'll give you a really good example. My sister-in-law, so this is Ollie's sister. So they are very similar. I mean, both of them would probably be a bit annoyed if I said that, but they're very similar.
Eliza.
Yeah, but they are very similar. She's like the female of him, which is probably why I like her so much.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
She also loves novelty and she also loves new stuff. And she will do things that I think are crazy. Like she'll change the kids' bedrooms around. Like 1 week it'll be one kid's bedroom and then a few weeks later it's the other kid's bedroom. And then like the study will become the music room and the piano will be in here. And my mind is blown. Like anytime I go over and a room is, and she's always like, for God's sake, you always think I don't change the rooms that often. It's been like this for a year. But to me, it's all novel. And I can't get my head around that. I'm like, no, once it is the kid's bedroom, that is it. Like it would never occur to me that such change is possible. She's so unafraid of mixing it up. And I really admire that, but also it terrifies me on a cellular level.
But that's why you like being around it.
Even like moving a sofa, to me, that's a big deal. She would move a sofa 3 times in a week and it would be nothing to her.
It is nothing.
I mean,
Just saying,
huge.
because you can always put it back.
It's huge to me.
And it was like, you know what? It's like hair always grows. Don't worry about it.
I'm fine with that. Hair does always grow.
Hair grows. If you don't like it, recolor it. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't have a problem with hair. Hair change, I'm okay with, ironically. I am. You said chop your hair off. I chopped it off.
You hated it.
I fucking hated it, but I did it.
But you hated it.
Yeah, but it grew. So whatevs.
You don't often change. You wouldn't often change your hair.
But I'm not. That is one thing that does kind of just grow back. That's okay. That's all right.
It was more the metaphor.
Yes. I understood.
It wasn't
Understood.
literal. It was like, you know what? The hair will grow.
Yeah. But also
Like the
literally
couch could go back.
It can. It's true. It's just being open to making
And also,
change.
we are in a creative business that's ever changing, which is
Yeah.
really interesting. Like the podcast space is still so new, really.
Yeah.
And so it's changing all the time.
Yeah.
And the recommendations change all the time. 1 minute, videos in, 1 minute videos out. Like the content that you have to create around it is forever changing and forever growing and evolving. And it's interesting that you find yourself in an industry that is so fast paced in growth.
I am very creative yet very stuck in my ways.
You don't really get stuck. I don't find you stuck. I do have to give you a little bit of a shove sometimes. But then you also, as we've said so many times, you also have to you have to hold me back. And that's where we're good for each other.
I'm like the bungee cord and you're like the edge of the cliff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
In a good way.
Because I'm not good with heights. But
No, me neither.
again, metaphorical. Metaphorical.
I want to go to a quick break and then come back and discuss strategies to help people who, like me, who are resistant to change.
Are you going to take some of your own advice?
Increase their resilience to change. I'll try. But again, even just the thought of the change is hard.
We'll be back shortly.
O que vale mais? Um dia difícil ou o carinho do seu pet? Contar com o acaso ou proteger quem você ama? Certas coisas não têm comparação, assim como o Bravecto. O preferido ao redor do mundo garante até 12 semanas de proteção contra pulgas e carrapatos em uma única dose. Bravecto é recomendado por veterinários porque dura mais. É mais proteção e menos preocupação.
Esse podcast é apresentado por Nubank Ultravioleta. Na vida, temos em média só 1/4 de tempo livre. E quanto menos tempo você precisa gastar cuidando da sua vida financeira, mais tempo livre você tem. Por isso, com Ultravioleta você tem acesso a cartão Black, investimentos, conta global e um amplo portfólio de produtos e benefícios exclusivos que te ajudam a economizar o seu tempo e a aproveitá-lo com o que realmente importa. É o efeito Ultravioleta. É como deveria ser.
O podcast parou, mas é bem rapidinho, tá? É só pra avisar que o mês Sticks tá chegando ao fim aqui no Pão de Açúcar. Essa é a chance perfeita de trocar seus pontos Sticks por refratários e talheres exclusivos com até 50% off. São vários modelos incríveis, um pra cada receita especial com gostinho de felicidade. Corre lá no app do Pão pra garantir o seu favorito. Pão de Açúcar, você feliz é tudo de pão.
Do you know what Socrates, my ancient Greek philosopher homeboy, says?
What does your homeboy say?
He says, the secret to change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new.
Hello. Didn't I say that at the top of this show? Excuse me.
Are you saying you're an ancient Greek philosopher
You know what?
disguised as a middle-aged woman?
It's a bit mean. Couldn't I have been described like I could be? You could have picked anything else. Just a middle-aged woman. That's what it all boils down to, does it?
You're not an ancient Greek philosopher.
No, but I don't have to just be reduced to a middle-aged woman.
Okay, what would you like to be described as? No, not going back to sexy because you didn't like that either.
I didn't like that. You know, a wise mother figure of
Podcasting?
yeah.
Do you want like an ancient Greek name?
Yeah, no, I don't actually, because I'm not into the Greek gods, and I went to see Hadestown. I fucking hated it, so no.
I don't know what Hadestown is.
It's a musical that everyone said you've got to go and see, and it was about Greek mythology, and I'm like, what is this bollocks?
Oh, there's a whole show on it called Chaos with a K, with someone very famous starring in it.
Doesn't matter.
It's like a modern twist on the ancient Greek
Yes,
gods.
it's Hadestown.
Oh, it's not called that. It's called Chaos.
No, well, this one's called Hadestown. It's about the same thing.
I actually love a Greek god.
All right, well, you go and see it. But anyway, it wasn't very good. But we digress.
But you do agree with Socrates.
I said it at the beginning of this show. I see it as an opportunity for growth, and it's full of possibility.
Okay.
I just said it in a more modern way. Sorry, Socrates, I did.
He's
Mine was
long-
more
he's-
relatable.
He's been dead many
listening.
hundreds of
He
years,
is
so don't
listening.
worry about it. It's okay. He's not going to be upset with you. Okay, these are the things that you can do if you, like me, find change challenging. Number 1, accept the change.
You do.
I have to.
I think we should give like an example here.
Okay, here we
There's
go.
something we've had to change.
All right, well, I'll tell you what it is and then we'll talk about
should
it,
we
right?
use the example of the artwork?
Acknowledge the change. Acknowledge that things are changing. You can even say, things are changing. It's okay. Things are changing. It's okay.
Do you use that?
I'm going to have to start.
When we were doing 40ish and everything was obviously very changeable, and we spent the summer, recording it, producing it, everything, and there was so much going on. And then I said to you, didn't I? Literally, as we released the first episode and things started to calm down, I said to you, I'm going to say something which I know you're going to hate now. And you're like, just rolling your eyes. What? So I said, we're going to have to come up with the next show soon. Mm-hmm. And you were just like,
I'm sorry, not today. Don't say that sentence to me today.
Yeah.
No. You can acknowledge your feelings. You can focus on what you
What
can
are your feelings?
control about change.
Yeah, come on. What are
Anxiety,
your feelings? Oh. Worry?
concern, panic, mild panic. Maybe
Panic.
that's a bit extreme.
I don't think so.
Mild panic, anxiety and concern. Those are my feelings. So there you go. I'm going to recognise them and validate them
Good for you.
instead of suppressing them.
Good for you.
I don't know if that's going to help, but that's what it says will help. So I'm going to try.
You're not very good at validating your own feelings.
No, I'm not. Focus on what you can control. That's good. And embrace the inevitable.
Which is the only thing unchanging is change itself. That
That's
is
the
the
one.
inevitable.
Isn't
it?
Number 2, you're already in it.
Am I?
Adopt a growth mindset.
Oh, I am so smashing that.
See change as an opportunity, which you already do. It's growth, it's learning, it's new experiences, and focus on
And
personal growth.
Look, since you've met me, look how much change has happened.
So much change.
Yeah, there has been.
I know.
And you are better off for it, aren't you?
Oh, yes.
You are. Even though she said to me about 20 minutes ago, Clubber, she said to me, you're being very mean today. And then we carried on the conversation. I said, I actually think it's you that's being mean. She's like, no, it's you.
I don't think that we've actually found the conclusion to that.
We haven't found the culprit.
No. Find it later. We'll argue over lunch about it. Break it down. Take small steps. I think sometimes you do that with me.
I do.
You feed me tidbits.
Yeah, I do.
Tidbits of the change.
Yeah.
But that is good. That is like a way to manage change. That is an actual solution.
To manage you.
Like managing me. Break it into little manageable tasks and goals, and then it feels a little less daunting.
Yeah, I can't throw things at you.
Well, you can, but I will just chuck it straight back.
You can't.
I will not
cannot
catch
process it.
No. No. And also, change takes time. Like, you have to give yourself a bit of room.
Yeah. It does take you time.
Okay.
That's okay.
This one I definitely don't like. Ask for help or seek support. We've done a show on it. It's called Asking for Help.
Oh, it was a good show. When was the last time you asked for help?
I asked my husband to go and get me paracetamol and bring me coffee and water this weekend. Does that help? I needed help.
Yeah, I would say that counts.
He said, do you need anything? Coffee or water? I was like, I need both of those things and paracetamol. He was like, okay. And he brought it all up to me.
Yeah, I would say that absolutely counts.
I was like, and you have to take Josh to the party and pick him up. Okay. I did. I did. I asked, I got.
That's what happens when you ask for help.
Yeah. It's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Talk about it. Share your thoughts, your concerns, verbalise it.
Do you do that?
Not really.
You don't tell me about it?
I do tell you. I think half the time you wish I didn't tell you.
No, I don't actually. I actually don't feel like that at all, no.
Okay.
I find most things that you say quite interesting.
Thanks. Thank you.
I do.
You're in the minority, but thanks.
No, I'm not in the minority.
Of one.
I'm not in the minority, and I'll tell you how I know this.
How?
Because we've had a lot of feedback from 40ish, and a lot of my friends are listening to 40ish, which is really nice because not all my friends listen to Self Care Club. So that's really good. And they always feed back about the things that you've said. Oh, I really laugh when one of you said such and such. It's always something you've said. I'm like, I know you're the funnier one. I get it. I accept it. But, you know, sometimes, occasionally, it'd be nice for someone to like what I've said.
Especially if it's your friends.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, my friend in Australia, Steph, because she was mentioned in one of the friendship shows, she said, Mark listened to the show, that's her husband, and he really, really enjoyed it. I was like, blimey, really? She was like, yeah, he really enjoyed the show. I thought, that is so nice to hear, especially from a man in his 40s.
I thought you were going to tell me that he enjoyed something that I'd said.
I think he enjoyed what we were both saying. He was really enjoying the show that we both host.
We both host both of them.
I know.
And I set you up for the jokes.
Okay. So I think your friends would be nice if they said something nice about you.
They don't mean it. They don't even know who said what. They just tell me the funny bits that made them laugh.
They can't tell your voice from mine.
I don't think they're consciously thinking, oh, that's Lauren, that was funny, she's the funny one. I don't think that's what they're saying. Although someone did come up to me in the gym, didn't they, and said, oh, I've listened to your podcast. Which one's the funny one? That'd be Lauren.
Yeah, but you know, that's a bit like when I watch Saturday Night Takeaway with Ant and Dec. I'm not watching it thinking, oh, Ant's really got like the good one-liners and Dec's like not so great this week. I'm enjoying them together, the chemistry between them and their banter.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying Ant and Dec and Ant. I'm not preferential. I don't prefer one over the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
You couldn't do what you do without me.
Vice versa. So I think people just enjoyed that. It's not me, it's not you, it's just the two of us together.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I'm nearly there.
With what?
With how to help yourself with change. I'm helping myself because you don't have a fucking problem with it.
You don't.
You don't need any help.
I don't. I've got this licked.
This is not
fair.
How
cool is this?
This is like when we used to do those shows.
Yeah.
We went through a period of doing about 6
Well,
practice shows.
no,
Every week you were like, yeah, it's fine. How do you feel about this, Nicole? I feel fine
But
about
also
it.
we didn't know each other. So you didn't know how I was.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have done those shows. Every show we picked, like, how are you with difficult conversations? Yeah, I'm great about that.
No, I'm not. I'm terrible with difficult conversations. Terrible. Still terrible with it.
Me
Just
too.
so you know.
I was terrible at all of them, pretty much everything.
I think that's a bit mean, a bit harsh.
I'd say it's true. All right, sticking to routines where possible, because it gives you an anchor.
There you go.
I need that. An anchor is like a reminder that some things are the same, and then it gives your brain a little bit of a rest. So that's quite good. I think you and I both like an anchor. You like an anchor.
I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely need that.
Yeah.
And if I don't have that, I do go a bit doolally.
Yeah. And also manage stress effectively, because even good change can cause stress. Like having a baby, moving house, these are like lovely things, but they can still definitely cause stress.
Oh my God, of course they can. Your whole life goes up into disarray.
Yeah. And it's okay to feel stressed. It's actually really, really normal. And the best way to cope with that is just to, as much as possible, stay organised and try and schedule things and try and keep everything as manageable as possible. Break things down into small tasks. Give yourself time and create a sense of purpose.
But do you think this will eventually help you with your relationship with change?
I don't know.
Because I still think that perhaps you will just relate to it the way you relate to it, but you can sort of just manage it a bit better. And I guess there's the, like you said, you accept that the change is happening, but you can also accept that, oh, I'm not brilliant with change. I accept I'm not brilliant with change. So these are the things that I need to put in place so that I can manage myself and my anxiety
around it. Well, I'm thinking like I'm going to give you a real life what is going on right now example of the change and how I feel like I have managed it.
We are on the edge of our seats.
Don't be.
Is it about towel day?
No, because that's such a positive change for me. So this September, right, there has been quite a lot of change.
Yes,
so
yes,
Max has gone into his final year at uni.
Yes.
So that's not new to me now because he's been gone for 2 years. But wow, that change of him leaving home and not living with him anymore was absolutely huge, and not to be underestimated for anybody who is dealing with that this autumn, because I feel you. It is like a weird grief because they're not dead. They're actually having an amazing time making new
you
friends.
must be so happy for them, but so sad because you miss them.
You miss them so much, and it's like a limb is missing.
My sister-in-law, my niece
So
went to uni
hard.
this weekend, and I messaged her to say, how are you? And she said, I cried all the way home.
I mean, that's all I hear this week. I've cried all the way home. I just remember dropping him off, and he was absolutely desperate for us to leave him. And I wanted to make, and I said, and he wouldn't let me do anything in the room. And I said, listen, I want to make the bed, and I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me. Can you please let me make your bed? Because I want to still feel like your mum. It broke my heart. And we left him and we walked through the town, and I just kept looking at Ollie and he kept looking at me. And I was like, we've sort of completed a child. And then we drove home without him. And it was the change was massive, but you do get used to it. And you never think you will, but time really does make that change easier. And now I'm so used to him not being there. When he is there, it's a change again. So this September, he's gone into his 3rd year. Zach has left school. So I only have one child left at school, and that little child has gone to senior school, and he gets the bus home. So I don't do a school run. I don't have the school gates thing. And the weird thing about it is this week, both Ollie and I have had all these dreams about Josh being a baby.
Oh, don't.
So strange. So I had one, I can't remember what it was now, something about bathing him or potty training him or something like that. And then Ollie said to me, I dreamt that he drowned. Like he was a baby and I wasn't watching him and he drowned. And it was all my fault. And I said, we are both subconsciously having this whole thing of like the death of his babyhood, the death of his primary age school. Like it's obviously sitting in us quite deep, and we didn't really know, but we're both dreaming the same thing.
Well, I think he's also, because he's the last one.
And he's very much the baby, and he's not a baby. So that has been, although, nothing's changed. He's still at school every day. Zach's still at home. There's been a shift, and I have definitely felt the change.
You've said goodbye to primary school.
Yeah.
And you've been having kids in primary school for how many years?
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A really, really long time.
Yeah.
And that's quite something. And also, I just want to sort of caveat that with the death of his primary school years, but the birth of him becoming a young man.
Yeah. But it's all of these things are a shift. They're a shift in the dynamic. They're a shift in the day-to-day workings of the household.
Yeah.
And it is a change. So I definitely have had to take a couple of weeks to kind of sit in the fact that it is all inevitable. It is going to change. I can't prevent that. I have to be okay with it. I have to look for the opportunities and the positives. Like we get a much longer working day now. I'm not doing an hour and a half drive every day to pick him up. There are lots and lots of benefits. And also that with time, this will all become a very normal way of being.
I mean, the benefits can always outweigh the other side of things, but it is still a shift. And that does take time to process and to get used to.
Yeah. And also the other bit about like talking about it is I have talked to Ollie about it a lot. Like nothing is wrong. All of this stuff is life and it's normal. And it's great. Like, he loves senior school. He has said, I love senior school so much more than I loved junior school. And he loved junior school. So he is like thriving and happy and great. Zach has got a job. He is so happy. Everything is like, it's all positive change, but it's still change. And I find the difficulty just in the change. So I guess I have actually done some of those tips. I have accepted it. I have looked for the good things. I have talked about it. I am giving myself time. I am acknowledging my feelings. Look at me doing the work.
You know, I've also had a change this September because my daughter left senior school.
Yes.
And she started at a different school to do her sixth form. And she went from being in this very sort of cocooned cotton wool environment where she would get on a school coach and everything else. And now she has to get herself there and she's much more independent. And there's been a huge change. I'm seeing the change happening in her and she needs the change. And I'm absolutely here for it and watching her. And I really enjoyed it. And I was really ready for it because I needed her to become a little bit more independent. It was time. She'd sort of outgrown that school. And with that, just as a mum, it just changes things. She comes home at a different time and the workload is different and she's different and it's a good thing.
It is good. It just takes a little adjusting, mental adjusting.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I've even got, I mean, you're going to be so proud of me. I've even got a helpful acronym for change.
Go on.
And it's called A.D.A.P.T. A.D.A.P.T. Okay? A.D.A.P.T. A, accept the change.
Nice.
Acknowledge the feelings, focus on what you can control. D, develop a growth mindset. See change as an opportunity for learning and personal growth. The next A is for act in small steps. Break down the change into manageable tasks. The P, prioritize self-care and support. And the T...
You will never do P.
I know. And the T, time and flexibility. Give yourself time to adjust, stay flexible and reflect on your progress.
Love it. And I like that. It's just time.
Adapt.
Just allow it. Yeah. It's beautiful. I love it. Well done.
Thanks. It's been so long since we've had a cute acronym. Do you remember
Adapt.
KISS? KISS?
Keep it
Simple and sincere.
That was from How to Have a Difficult Conversation.
Yeah.
Still terrible.
It still holds true.
I love it. Adapt. Yeah. I think it's great. I was just thinking, like, because, you know, she started this new school, but actually we're already starting to think about what's next for her.
Of course.
And I was thinking last night, coming back to obviously the topic of change, like we're still in the change and we haven't really settled in the change yet, but we're also thinking about the next change. And I did find that a little bit much because like, oh my God, because we need to, you know, the next move for her is hopefully, you know, a big move, whether it's university or it's whatever school she wants to go to next. But I just want to get on top of it and I didn't want to like leave it. You know, I want to be really organised about what she wants because we have to apply very, very early because she wants to go to drama schools and they're so difficult to get into. And I just thought it's too much change.
Yeah.
Like just, you know, because the sixth form is such a short period of time.
It really is. It's nothing.
It's 6 terms.
Nothing.
That's
It's
it.
nothing.
And then it's done.
Yeah.
And so Adam, my husband's like, do we need to start thinking about this now? I'm like, yeah, actually we do. Because by the time it comes to apply, I want to know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, you got to do your research.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
It's just change everywhere.
Yeah, and it's good, but it's not always easy, I think is my point. And you know what? Next week, we're starting a whole month about not just change, the change.
No, you're not allowed to call it that anymore.
The change.
No.
Why?
No.
That was the old
Can
name
I just tell
for
you
it.
something?
Yeah.
Talking about the change, which is AKA the menopause or the perimenopause, which is a much better term because it's the medical term.
The change.
Stop it.
It sounds so terrible, doesn't it?
Or they used to call it the curse.
No, that was your periods.
Oh, was it the periods?
Yeah, once the curse ends, you get the change. It's fun, innit? Being a woman's such fun.
The menopause, or the perimenopause, because I'm not in menopause yet. The perimenopause
Or
has...
the peri-peri, as they like to call it in my household.
Well, I'm in perimenopause, very much so. But it has changed everything for me.
Well, there you go. So I think this is actually a nice bridging show.
You want to ask me what it's changed? Do you want it like...
Do I need to? I've lived it every single day with you. I know every detail about what, how, who, why, where. I know every dose of gel. I know every patch. I know the micro. I know the macro. I know the gynecologist. I am so on top of your menopause, I could write a novella. I could write a sonnet about it. I know more about your menopause than your husband knows. I am down with it. And it has taught me a great deal of information.
What has it taught you?
How to advocate for oneself. Not to be fobbed off by doctors when you feel that something isn't right in your body. Things to look out for in one's own body, mood, mind that might not be feeling good, and all the different alternatives and how many alternatives there are in terms of HRT. You've taught me about dosage. I am so well prepped now that you have done the legwork.
But I didn't mean that that's what it's changed.
Oh, okay.
That's why I wanted you to ask me about it. And also, you might know all about it, Miss In the Know, but our listeners, you know, the people we make the podcast for, don't know what it's changed. And they might be curious to know what has changed for me. But I can't now set it up properly.
Have I ruined it?
What kind of?
Nicole, what has the perimenopause changed for you?
Everything. It has changed everything. It's changed my tolerance for things. Like I cannot tolerate things that are intolerable anymore. And I don't believe that we should have to. It has taught me, again, how to advocate for myself. But I don't even mean just in a medical sense. I mean very much in a professional sense and very much on a personal level. Advocate for myself, look out for myself, stand up for myself, be my own best friend, always have my own back so that I can rely fully on myself, whether it's for my emotional needs, my physical needs, my medical needs, whatever it is, that I have to have my own back. And that's what it's taught me. And I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah. I mean, there is the most revolting phrase that I hate the phrase, but I love the energy behind it. They call it like, what do they call it? Crone power or something. It's like once you're in that post-menopausal fullness of power where you're no longer distracted by hormones, babies, sex, procreation, biology, you like come into this fullness of power where you are just, I am this whole woman now who does not need to be distracted by the trivialities of being a younger woman. It's a big deal.
It is kind of like that. And also like just not putting up with things that you don't have to put up with anymore.
Well, young women and generally women have to put up with a lot of shit.
Yeah. They don't have to, but we're kind of taught to.
Yeah.
And you actually don't have to. And as I get older and, you know, I'm 47 now and I'm going to be 48 in February. I'm in my late 40s and I feel so empowered to do the things that I want to do for me because I want to do them and not justifying it in any other way because it's my life and I will live it how I choose to. And that is so powerful and fun and interesting and makes my life bigger and richer. And it's great.
Love it.
Yeah.
Both my kids did sociology A-level, and when they were talking about the imbalance of power and the domestic load and all of that stuff, there is an actual phrase called, and it's, as you can imagine, leavened at women, we can be termed takers of shit.
What's the actual term?
Yeah, because that is what we have to do a lot of the time. So they really do understand the gender pay gap, how the domestic load, all those imbalances that happen because they've actually studied it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I'm so pleased that your boys have studied that. That's very cool.
They are big feminists. Not the little ones so much, but
Not
the big
yet.
two are.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Listen, my girls are always like, oh, she's such a feminist. And I'm like, you know
Everyone
what?
should be a feminist, including the men.
Everyone should be a feminist.
Anyway, clubbers, I
don't know how that became a feminist rant.
I don't know. Well, because this is a bridging show, right? We've gone from friendships into change and then next week into the menopause.
We're doing a whole beautiful mini series.
A whole month long.
A whole month long about the menopause. Now, don't do the snore. It's not going to be a snore fest.
Don't roll your eyes and don't say, oh, but I'm only 32. It's nothing to do with me.
And then someone said to me that this is a while ago, and they said, oh, God, this was a woman.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's being talked about a bit too much? And I was like, no, I don't. I just think that information has been so appalling and so lacking that actually any information that we can get about the menopause is absolutely vital for all women. We've got some amazing doctors coming on.
Absolutely.
And they're fun and
Brilliant.
They're charismatic and they're relatable and they bring the information to you in a really interesting way. We have a cardiologist.
Yep.
We have a bottom doctor.
And we have a front bottom doctor. She is a vulval specialist. And have I ever been happier to speak to a vulval specialist?
But they're really interesting.
Oh my God, it blew our minds, the stuff they told us.
And the information that we've learnt by talking to these incredible women is absolutely imperative to every single solitary woman out there. So please do tune in. And we also, and yes, this is a big flex, we have Dame Leslie Regan coming on the show.
Yes, we do. So whether you are a woman of any age, because whatever age you are, either it is going to happen to you, it is happening to you, or it has happened to you. So you need to listen to these shows. And if you are a man, presumably you are around a woman who it is either
don't have any men
going to happen to, happening to, or has happened to.
They listen to
it's
40ish, they
vital.
don't listen to Self Care Club.
Well, they should be listening to those shows because they're very important. Yeah.
So that's coming up next week.
Yes.
But the first show of next week is our experience at One Welbeck.
Yeah, going to have all our menopause checks done.
Yeah.
You'll find out.
Yeah. So we'll be back then, but we're coming back on Friday for a weekly wellness roundup show, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to be in touch with us, hello@theselfcareclub.co.uk. If there's any topics that you want us to discuss, please email us. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you, wouldn't we?
Especially wintry things. Coming up to Christmas, self-care-y, Christmassy stuff.
It's too early for Christmas. Stop it.
Well, it is, but not in podcasting
Laura's like, I
world.
don't acknowledge Christmas until the 31st of October is out the way.
That's not correct. Until after bonfire night. I will acknowledge Christmas on the 6th of November, not before. But in
and there's no changing her
there's
mind.
no change in that. But in podcasting world, we're way ahead, so we're ready for Christmas stuff now.
We're not way ahead.
Yeah, way ahead.
We're not way
We've
ahead.
already recorded April 2025. No,
We have absolutely
that
not
is
done
a lie.
that.
That is a lie.
We will be back on Friday.
Bye.